people make decisions with their heart first and they rationalize it with their mind. One, I think your ask was good. At the end, I think that, this is what will happen if you help me, if you help us, create this thing. I thought that was really well done.
My name is Van Brooks. I'm the founder of Safe Alternative Foundation for Education.
Ballet After Dark, Baltimore Youth Art,
the Live Together Institute,
Parity Baltimore, Inc.,
founder of the Career Crisis Response Unit,
founder and CEO of B360.
Tendaya,
a pipeline for diversity and healthcare leadership program,
the Global Air Drone Academy.
Together, take one.
Work at Baltimore Youth Art. Can we just go back? Thank you.
Oh, I'm like, was I supposed to do something?
Okay.
Sorry. It's okay.
I know I have to do that.
We're still rolling.
Oh.
Yeah, we're still rolling.
So I just start back?
Good. Cool.
You've done this before, huh? Yeah.
I have.
All right, that's it.
Hello, I'm Franklin Baker, President and CEO of United Way of Central Maryland. And our organization is so proud and really excited to support the Changemaker Challenge right here in Baltimore City. We started the Changemaker Challenge in 2017 with partners in Howard County to help surface new ideas for positive social change. Since its inception there, we've witnessed firsthand the meaningful and measurable difference it has created. So this year, we've expanded it to counties all across Central Maryland. At United Way, we provide what's needed, where it's needed, to improve lives and communities. We work day and night, every day of the year, and especially now, during this lingering pandemic, to find solutions to ongoing and emerging needs. But it doesn't, and it simply can't end with us. We are always looking to find and support those grassroots, boots on the ground leaders, because we know that they're among the best equipped to drive real change within their communities. By broadening the Changemaker Challenge, we can give more people a seat at the table and give them a powerful platform to share their big, bold ideas that will really help close service and resource gaps so that together we can help even more people in the focus areas of health, housing, education, and economic advancement. Now, it's important to point out that the Changemaker Challenge isn't a competition among applicants on ideas because, and I want to really stress this, every single concept to improve lives is important. The challenge here is inequity and how we can all address it. It's institutional racism and hate crimes. It's the disparate and severe damage this pandemic has inflicted on people who were already vulnerable. It's barriers to good health. It's policies and dynamics that prevent people from getting ahead, from accessing quality education, and from having a safe, affordable place to call home. Today, more than ever, we need fresh, new ideas for meaningful change in Baltimore City and, yes, across all of Central Maryland. The people you'll hear from tonight and all who have entered the Changemaker Challenge have really inspired and impressed us with their commitment to making lives better for others. Now, tonight, and this is important, everybody, tonight is about celebration. We're here to celebrate, to elevate, and to amplify the voices of local activists and change agents and their big, bold ideas to improve lives. With us here are members of the local community, people who are invested in the health and future of this city, and who are here to cheer on these change makers and share what they think makes their concepts so meaningful. And this celebration doesn't end after tonight. We'll continue to amplify the voices of these change makers. We'll share their work to drive even more support of their big ideas and to spread the word about just how important change is at the local grassroots level. As you hear from each of them, I have a request for you here on our audience. Think about how you can invest in these change makers in a way that is meaningful to you to help accelerate their good work. United, we can help them realize their dreams, and you can help fuel their work too. By partnering with them, telling others about their work and plans, sharing your networks and contacts with them, and so much more. You can find donation links and contact information for each of our amazing changemakers at uwcm.org/Changemaker Challenge. And even though we are not in person, we still want you to be involved with the show tonight. So make sure you use the chat feature that is below the screen so you can show your support. Tonight, we celebrate all Changemaker Challenge entrants and participants, past and present, and all those who are sparking new and creative solutions to improve lives and communities. Thank you for all your big and bold ideas. Now, let's hear from our community partners who will be reviewing our Changemaker submissions. Would each of you introduce yourself and share a little bit about what you bring from your experience in Baltimore City to this process? And so we have asked the judges to introduce themselves and highlight the connection to Baltimore City. Nakia Jones, let's start with you.
Hi, I'm Nakia Jones. I am currently working as the executive director for Philanthropy Tank Baltimore. As a former Baltimore City public school teacher, youth leadership and entrepreneurship is really what gets me going and excites me. One of the things I love most about Baltimore is the uniqueness and diversity of its people. And so I'm excited to see that diversity in the changemakers who will be presenting tonight.
Thank you so much, Nakia. Our next partner is Aaron Church.
Hey, Franklin, thanks so much for the introduction, and good evening, everybody, and congratulations for all the finalists. My name is Aaron Church, and I'm a partner at Ernst & Young in Baltimore. I was born and raised in Baltimore and have lived and worked in Baltimore City for nearly 20 years now, where I currently live with my family. I'm very passionate about our city and helping to make it a stronger place through engagement with the United Way of Central Maryland, where I'm currently the vice chair of the Baltimore City Run Board. I'm excited to be here with all of you this evening, and congratulations again to all the finalists.
Thank you, Aaron, for your support. We also have Destiny Simone Ramjan. Destiny.
Thank you, Franklin, and congratulations to you and the United Way team on pulling off such a phenomenal event. I'm so excited for our changemakers this evening. My name is Destiny Simone Ramjan, and I'm proud to serve as Vice President of Community Health and Social Impact with Care First. I'm a native New Yorker. I grew up in Brooklyn, and what brought me to Baltimore was work. But really what kept me in Baltimore was love. Baltimore has tight-knit communities, lush green spaces, a gorgeous inner harbor, great food, and the list goes on and on. But truly, it's the people of Baltimore, creative visionaries, and this unbreakable spirit that we see in so many of our change makers that keeps me here and makes me proud to be a Baltimore City resident. Whether it's our youth, our elders, our grassroots organizations, our elected officials, or our business leaders, so many of us are passionate about this great city. And I'm proud to see the solutions that our change makers will present to us tonight. Back to you, Franklin.
Thank you so much, Destiny. Glad to have you as one of our community wonderful panelists. Next, we have Pickett Slater Harrington. Let's hear from you, Pickett.
Thanks a lot, Franklin, and congratulations to all our finalists. My name is Pickett Slater Harrington, and I'm a proud Baltimorean. I'm the founder and managing principal of Joltage. I'm a husband, father, community member, and social designer. Joltage is a social change design firm. And I also work in social design with Neighbors United, which is an initiative of the United Way of Central Maryland to build the capacity of residents to create systemic change on the issues and challenges that face them each and every day. So I'm so happy to celebrate with fellow designers and change makers. And back to you, Franklin.
Thank you, Pickett. So happy to have one of our Neighbors United community leaders here to review the ideas from other voices in our community. And last, but by no means least, we have Aaron Henkin. Aaron, let's hear about your connection to this event.
Hey, Franklin, it's great to be with you. Congratulations to all the Changemakers. I've lived in Baltimore for 20 years now and worked in the city as a journalist at Baltimore's public radio station, WYPR. I'm the creator and producer of a neighborhood documentary series called Out of the Blocks, where each episode I make it my mission to go to one city block and meet and interview everyone there about life. I have gotten to hear Baltimoreans tell their stories in their own voices, on their own terms, in their own spaces. And I just care deeply about this place that we all share and call home together, and believe in the power of stories to shape the future. And can't wait for the evening ahead. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you so very much, Aaron. And we have a really great group of invested folks here tonight. Thank you for your time and commitment to improving Baltimore City through your efforts and through your participation in tonight's Changemaker event. So let's meet our change makers. First up, let's hear from Dominique Clifton and hear her idea of sparking positive change.
Close your eyes for a moment and imagine growing up in a neighborhood where you may not live long enough to reach retirement age. Now imagine that within walking distance, growing up in a neighborhood where you may not only live long enough to reach retirement, but you may outlive the average American by 5 years. Hi, my name is Brian Sims, president of the Greater Baltimore Health Improvement Initiative. In Baltimore City, there's an almost 20-year gap in life expectancy between neighboring communities, a disparity that is particularly glaring along racial and economic lines. For too long, health outcomes for people of color have lagged their white counterparts. Even when adjusting for socioeconomic factors, people of color still fare worse. These disparities will continue to persist without efforts to ensure a more culturally responsive approach to healthcare. However, decisions to prioritize these efforts come from the top. They say to bloom where you're planted. Well, we know healthcare and we know leadership. Drawing from our decades of experience in healthcare policy and management, we seek to use our expertise and extensive network to develop and mentor aspiring healthcare leaders of color from local colleges and universities through our Pipeline for Future Healthcare Leaders program. Not only will our pipeline increase representation in the healthcare field for both clinical and non-clinical leadership positions, which we know is correlated with improved health outcomes, but it will also create more pathways to economic advancement, helping to stabilize our communities and ensure a higher quality of life. Our vision for Baltimore is that it become a city where the life expectancy of all of its residents, regardless of neighborhood, is reflective of the most economically developed countries in the world, where opportunity, trust, access, and cultural awareness intersect, achieving health equity for all. Now, we believe future healthcare leaders of color are the change makers needed in Baltimore, and we hope you do too.
Thank you, Brian, from Greater Baltimore Health Improvement Initiative. Unfortunately, it's true that your zip code can determine your health and lifespan. This sounds like a great initiative to advance health equity and provide culturally responsive ways to address health needs. Terrific idea. Aaron Church, let's hear from you on this big idea from Brian.
Yeah, thanks, Franklin. And Brian, welcome. Congratulations again on being a finalist. And thanks for all you're doing to help address workforce diversity in allied health professions and also in the clinical facing positions. Your big idea really aids in bridging the gap between the Black community and healthcare, and will certainly aid in helping to foster trust of the healthcare system and better outcomes for our local residents. So thanks for all you're doing, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aaron. Nakia, what questions do you have for this Changemaker?
Sure. Great job, Brian, starting. My question is, can you elaborate a little bit more on how you plan to partner with HBCUs?
Sure. I do want to introduce my wife, Angela Sims, and she really was the brainchild behind this. I was just the face in the video and collaborating on that. So I'll let Angela speak to that.
Sure. So the intentions of the program is exactly what you said, engaging and connecting with HBCUs. I'll use, for example, I worked at a large accounting firm years ago, and one of the partners said, we need to engage more people like you. Someone might have taken that as, disrespectful, but I appreciated it because you typically network and you gain recruitment from the partners or your network. So our intentions are to connect particularly with Coppin State University, Morgan, BCCC, in addition to University of Baltimore, although they're not considered an HBCU, but because they are an institution that has majority African Americans as a part of that. So our intentions are to engage with them to identify students of all majors, because there are many professions within the healthcare community that can be used and identify, the connections there. So our intentions are to engage with them, to bring them forward, to identify new opportunities for them to see the overall picture and social determinants, not just what they learn within their majors, but how does housing, how does education, how does transportation all connect? So in addition to engaging with those HBCUs, it's almost showing them all the parts of Baltimore that they may not have seen and how these things interconnect with healthcare and the health outcomes and quality of life of Baltimore residents.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Angela and Brian, for your wonderful explanation of your great idea. Next up, we have Baltimore Youth Arts. Let's learn more about how their big idea will improve lives here in the city.
Hello, my name is Leisha Winley.
And I'm Gianna Rodriguez. Before we talk to you about our work at Baltimore Youth Arts, we'd like you to take a moment to just look around whatever space you're in. If you're in your room, at your office, if you're outside. Everything you see has been touched by an artist in one way or another. Everything we interact with each day has been impacted by an artist or a designer. At Baltimore Youth Arts, young people are paid to learn how to make art because we believe and have seen that the arts are a path to employment and that they help young people build the soft and hard skills needed in today's ever-changing world. BYA engages youth ages 14 to 22 in a creative entrepreneurship and career readiness program where they gain job and design skills, develop relationships, and learn how to engage with the greater community. While BYA is open to any and all Baltimore youth, we focus on those who have contact with the justice system.
BYA was developed because there is no program working inside detention centers and reconnecting with youth when they return home. While our focus is in the arts, we recognize that in order for many participants to fully engage in the program and succeed beyond BYA, their personal needs have to be met. It is for this reason that staff and instructors act as mentors who assist youth in accessing educational and social services, financial skills training, navigating technology, and leadership development opportunities. Through collaborative creative projects, youth gain transferable skills such as how to work on a team, develop their ideas into tangible pieces and products, and communicate their work with others. The arts enable us to see things from multiple perspectives and envision possibilities that may otherwise seem out of reach. We envision a world where all young people have equal access to opportunities that allow them to discover their purpose.
BYA, thank you so much for your presentation. Your idea to connect the arts to entrepreneurship and building skills and career readiness for those in the justice system will certainly help expand access to opportunity. Great concept. Let's hear what our community members have to say. Aaron Henkin, what do you have to say?
Sure. Congratulations. Beautiful pitch, beautiful video. I'll speak on behalf of the entire panel when I tell you we all were really impressed. Your application showed you've got a great track record with local organizations, and we just really admire the work that you're doing to uplift and advance local youth through the arts. So congratulations and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Well said, Aaron. Destiny, what else would you like to hear from this Changemaker?
Absolutely. Thanks, Franklin. Gianna, Leisha, I couldn't agree more with Aaron. Congratulations. Outstanding application. I have a question for you. And this is particularly about your staff. The panel would like to hear how your staff and mentors are trained and how and in what ways would Changemaker funding support their training?
So, Baltimore youth arts staff are all trained in trauma-informed programming and care. Also, everyone goes through ACEs training. We do trainings in the juvenile justice system, the in and outs to that. Restorative justice. We're trained in restorative justice practices and dialogue circles, as well as classroom management, educational pedagogy, and things related to program facilitation. And the funding support would, okay, so BYA is not just run by staff. Young people take on a lot of responsibilities in the program, and they're taking on more right now. We have young people in internship roles who are leading some endeavors in the program who want to start teaching classes. So any funding that we get from this opportunity, if we were to be chosen, is going to be directly going to young people, to the Youth Advisory Council, to interns, to young people who are going off to college and want to return to teach incoming apprentices and interns. Do you have anything to add? Okay, yeah.
Thoughtful, reflective, wonderful answer to a great question, Destiny. Thank you for the question. Now, let's hear from Live Together Incorporated and their big idea.
These two beautiful young women have called me Ma for over 30 years. They grew up in the child welfare system and have experienced living in the Baltimore projects, homelessness, financial hardships, cancer, deaths, teen pregnancies, rape, and brutal odds against success. And I'm grateful that they are alive, but their ongoing struggles are systematically still there, regardless of how much I love them. Most children now in the system have been human trafficked, often by family. This is Miriam Zosnowski, a resident who lived in a nursing home where I worked. She was my friend. Miriam had a debilitating stroke that left her paralyzed on her right side. She didn't have a choice of where to sit for dinner, who she talked to, was isolated without the freedom to move about the community and outside, and her close friends continued to diminish. Our country has segregated and isolated elders and underserved youth for decades. Our newly formed company, Live Together, hopes to change this cycle. Live Together is based on 30 years of experience working on solutions for vulnerable populations to thrive instead of simply survive. Live Together has an Institute for Teaching Person-Centered Care, adding to existing curriculums that are available in Baltimore City as a means for training students on career paths in aging and person-centered versus institutional care models. The second component of Live Together is hands-on training in multifamily demonstration projects that are based on intergenerational living, where all residents have access to amenities, services, and accessible housing, creating true home to thrive. Imagine a world where young people can build a purposeful, meaningful career. Imagine a world where elders have choice, autonomy, and dignity. Intergenerational communities coupled with workforce development opportunities would bridge gaps in our broken system. Without new models, the outcomes of children aging out of foster care and elders living in nursing homes remains isolating and hopeless. Within a Live Together community, there are opportunities to live healthy, productive lives, to experience growth, meaningful activity, and purpose.
Thanks, Jane, for sharing your concept to address ongoing challenges faced by underserved youth and the elders in our city. It sounds like you also have great experience in working with groups that are vulnerable or marginalized. Really interesting concept. So Pickett, tell us what you thought about this big idea.
Thank you, Franklin. Jane, what a powerful, powerful example of love and relationship and healing. I love this. And I think I speak for the entire panel when I say that your years of experience in working with young folks and older folks, and then the idea to bring those two together in one piece, as a social designer, that's where social innovation happens. It's usually the combining of ideas, and to have this intergenerational and multi-generational approach, it is just wonderful to see. So thank you, and please continue your work.
Thank you.
Very well said, Pickett. Aaron Hinken, what else would you like to know about this work?
Sure. Hi, Jane. Great, brilliant idea, really well presented. Question for you. In your application, you said if you got this award, you would put the funds towards workshops and focus groups that would help you improve your approach. Can you talk a little bit more about that, about those workshops and how that would happen?
Yes, absolutely. So we've been talking with various groups in terms of Coppin State and Baltimore City Community College. So we have to put in place what's called an IRB, an Institutional Review Board application. And we would like to meet with faculty and meet with different students in understanding the gaps better so we can improve the workforce development portion of it, but also allow the students and faculty to tell us where the gaps are, because we want to take the clinical side of training, the clinical side of how we look at care and how we look at interventions. So the intervention idea is really to put together the intervention between youth and older adults working together to then create a program so that we could use the information to improve our educational offering through the Live Together Institute. So specifically, we're hoping that students will then give us the gaps, give us the information, and then take that information and be able to apply it directly to the syllabus and to the learning that we would like to emulate throughout the Institute, so that as we're looking at it, it gives everybody an opportunity to look at the person-centered care. We're trying to deinstitutionalize, and no longer think of things as carceration when it comes to, or incarceration in terms of how we look at elders and youth. So the opportunity to be able to apply all of that together and improve the syllabus from the basic competencies. So then we'd like some of the students to then come through our program. And so that's what we're going to use the grant money for. Identifying the gaps, looking at the focus groups and the workshops with both faculty and staff once we get the IRB in place, and then evaluating that and taking the students through some of the syllabus and some of the programs that we've developed. And we think that that'll shift the thinking in terms of how we evaluate care as well as services that are offered to both youth and elders.
Thank you so much, Jane, for your response. Okay, such great ideas so far. Next, we have Ballet After Dark. Let's hear what they have to say.
My name is Tide Courtney, and in 2012, I crawled out of the woods after surviving a rape. I was battered and I was broken. And the people I thought that would be there for me, doctors, therapists, nurses, they left me feeling hopeless. I didn't want to be here anymore, and I have the scars to prove it. I can't begin to describe what it felt like to want to crawl out of my skin every single day. My body was not mine any longer. I felt like I was covered in a blanket of shame. I wanted to love myself again. I wanted to love my body again. Not only was I desperately trying to mend the broken relationship that I had with my body, I was searching for spaces with women that had similar experiences that looked like me, Black women. Ballet After Dark was born out of necessity. Trauma can affect us physically. It can change our behavior and leave us feeling disconnected from our bodies. I wanted to learn how to allow someone into my space. I wanted to learn how to have hugs, how to share, how to be intimate with a partner again. There was nowhere for me to go. Scholarly articles describe dance training and activity as being directly related to the body's emotional interplay. Simply put, it is a fundamental form of expression. We're here today to ask for your support in helping us provide resources to youth and women impacted by sexual violence and trauma here in Baltimore City. Ballet After Dark provides free trauma-informed holistic dance therapy classes and resources to survivors here. Dancers can engage with over 70 dance therapy classes, free mental health resources, free financial literacy resources, self-defense workshops, and more. Trauma-informed meaning that we do not treat the symptoms of trauma. However, we understand the effects of it and provide resources lessening the possibility of triggering our survivors. Since 2018, Ballet After Dark has provided resources to over 120 youth and women in Baltimore City. Our program is turning trauma into triumph using the joy of movement. Ballet After Dark empowers survivors and restores confidence. Join us today as we help survivors reprocess, rebuild, and reclaim relationships with their bodies using the power of dance. Survivors don't just want to survive anymore. We want to thrive.
What a powerful story. And what a great idea, Ty Courtney, to use the power of movement and dance and important resources to help free those who've felt trapped by their trauma. What a wonderful idea. Destiny, let's hear what you thought about this idea.
Absolutely. Thank you, Franklin. And thank you, Tide Courtney. On behalf of the entire panel of community members here, we were so moved by your concept. We applaud you for sharing your experience, for your bravery, for your strength. And really, as you said, for turning trauma into triumph in ways that help other women. We were stunned by the global community of support that you outlined in your application, that this work was creating inclusive spaces for youth, women, trans women, and non-binary friends. And I think there were also really strong components of the application and the video that described the community organizing efforts that your organization can help contribute to for things like Me Too and much, much, much beyond that. I will say that you remind me of the Amanda Gorman quote, that there's always light if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it. So thank you for being brave enough to be it, Tide Courtney.
Thank you.
Thank you, Destiny. Very, very thoughtful set of responses there. And Aaron Church, what more would you like to know about this project?
Yeah, Franklin, and really appreciate the comments from Destiny and you, Franklin. Tide Courtney, this is a very powerful story, and thanks for being here tonight, and congratulations again on being a finalist. Your idea is very powerful, and we'd like to get a little bit of a better understanding of what your plans are for the future so that Ballet After Dark continues to be impactful as it has in the past. And also talk to us a little bit about how you plan to measure success of the participants going forward.
Okay, so when we think about scaling this resource so that it is statewide, so that it is available to lower income Black and Brown survivors, we have recognized that one of the things we need most is to be able to onboard more staff. We need a managing director. We need a community outreach coordinator to make sure that we are continuing to build these relationships with the victim service agencies, organizations, initiatives, and other change makers who are interested in survivor justice. So onboarding that staff is a critical and integral part of our sustainability. Another thing is each of our Ballet After Dark survivors receives this bad box here, which includes the full Ballet After Dark uniform, which is a t-shirt, a tutu, ballet slippers. It also comes with their workbook curriculum filled with dance history exercises, dance vocabulary, music vocabulary, self-care exercises, tools, and resources for them to rely on in the event that they find themselves triggered, their anxiety has spiked, and they need to self-soothe. So this is one of the other tangible resources that onboarding a support staff would help us print, produce, ship out to everyone who needs this resource. As far as, and give me a moment, I actually took some notes because I figured this question was coming up, but as far as measuring our impact and the impact that we'll have in the community, Ballet After Dark is the only cohort program like this using a dance therapy curriculum in conjunction with additional holistic resources to make this happen. So when we think about the impact we want to have, we measure it based on three things: survivor well-being, independence, and emotional empowerment, their ability to be able to identify and refer survivors to the program, and enhancement of their art appreciation. A macro level of success for providing looks like providing our survivors with empowering tools and direct support resources to become artists and agents of change and survivor advocates. We understand that recovering and being able to respond to sexual assault and sexual violence takes a very creative and integral and unique approach to making sure that everyone is involved, community supporters, survivors, everyone, making sure that everyone's voice is being heard and making sure that everyone is feeling seen. I hope I'm not rambling, but yeah, that's where we're at.
Thank you, Ty Courtney. Now let's hear from our next change maker, the Global Air Drone Academy. Take it away.
Think back to that time when you were a child and you realized your dreams and your life's goals. Whether you wanted to be a doctor, an inventor, or an astronaut, you knew that your dream would give your life direction and bring you happiness. Unfortunately for many students, those dreams are deferred by circumstances beyond their control and due to a lack of resources and confidence. Too often, students struggle through school systems that focus more on their numerical value rather than their human value. Using drones is the gateway to their hearts and opens the door to STEM-related education, activities, and careers. Here at the Global Air Drone Academy, not only do we encourage our students to dream, but we pave a pathway for them to success. We've created the Junior Drone Pilot Program, a 4-year tiered learning system that takes elementary, middle, and high school students in these underserved communities from STEM novice to STEM savvy, obtaining certifications and licenses while building confidence along the way. We are able to help them channel their energy and guide them towards their goals with the use of cutting-edge technology. Do you know what it's like to have a dream but doubt your own ability to fulfill it? Our program helps learners of the Baltimore City community dream again. The question is, will you be bold enough to come on board and be a part of this dream? Have you seen how much inspiration a child gets when they turn on a drone that they've built for the first time and they see those lights flash? It's priceless. Most recently, this summer, we were able to help one of our interns, Kelvin, become a licensed drone pilot. Yes, I said it, a licensed drone pilot. Our programs have been largely self-funded, but to grow and continually reach our goals, we need your help. They hold the vision, we are the gateway. What type of impact will you have?
Thank you, Miranda and Austin, for your big idea to use technology to open the hearts and minds of students and prepare them for careers in STEM. This is a wonderful idea to build confidence and skills to really help kids achieve their dreams for the future. Nakia, let's hear what you thought.
Sure. Great job, Miranda and Austin. This is such a unique idea for getting kids involved with STEM education and increasing their access to many opportunities in this field. And I really believe that the exposure that you're providing them is going to have such long-lasting effects.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nakia. Aaron Hinken, back to you. What questions do you have for this Changemaker?
Sure. Congratulations, Miranda, Austin. This is an awesome program. It totally appeals to the tech geek in me as well. Question for you. You mentioned one of your interns, you talked about a success story, Calvin, becoming a licensed drone pilot. Say a little bit more about your program in terms of, does it include like a career opportunities pipeline for these students? Are you able to connect them with potential employers?
Absolutely. That's a great question. So the Junior Drone Pilot Pipeline is just that. The plan is to take students from STEM novice all the way up to STEM employment. So we start out with the younger students and we get them engaged in hands-on STEAM activities. So that would be introducing them to drones, robotics for the very first time, and just getting their creative STEM juices flowing. And then through there, we take them through a series of workshops, including our Build a Drone workshop, which the kids love because they get to take a drone home, all the way up to internships. And this past year, we worked with YouthWorks interns. We were able to actually get them to study entrepreneurship, study to get their drone pilot's licenses, and study a couple other things along the way as well. And yeah, ultimately the goal is to get them certifications, and that's what we're requesting some funding for. So license fees, the materials that are necessary to train them, right? We don't just want to have them reading books about drones. We want to actually have them working hands-on with drones. And then through our partners, the FAA, AOPA, AIAA, STEM-focused organizations that have an interest in seeing diversity and inclusion in their industries are working along with us to get them into jobs. And of course, we employ a lot of our students ourselves. We've done that over the past 2 years. We've employed 40 YouthWorks interns and given them an opportunity to make money, learning about drones, learning about STEM, and just enjoying their summer. It's been great.
Drone novice to drone employee. Thank you, Curtis. Now, for our next Changemaker in tonight's celebration, let's hear about Pivot Inc.
Hi, my name is Veronica Jackson, and I'm the Executive Director at Pivot Incorporated. We are a women's reentry workforce development program. We believe that a woman's past does not define her future. And at our program, we really aim to help women reach their fullest potential who are returning citizens coming back from prison. What we offer over the course of 8 weeks is personal success coaching and mental health services. We know that every woman does not desire the same things, so every woman's approach to reaching her goals are different and crafted different throughout our program. We truly know that with all donations and support, we will be able to help women be able to obtain housing, supportive services that go into employment that oftentimes go unnoticed, transportation, things such as lunch for your first couple of weeks until you're able to get your first paycheck, rental assistance, energy assistance, and all the things that ensure that a woman is able to be successful in entering the workforce. We currently have serviced 40 women thus far with 93% placement in employment that are above minimum wage. And to us, that's a major deal to ensure that a woman is able to obtain employment, but not only be able to obtain employment, but to sustain a healthy lifestyle. We desire to continuously be that hub and support for women that are returning from any justice impact setting and able to go out and reach her most optimal dreams.
Thank you, Veronica, for your big idea to help women reenter society from incarceration. Those basic needs you mentioned in the video are so often overlooked. What a great program. It's time to hear from our community members. Destiny, what are your thoughts?
Thank you, Franklin. And Veronica, it's a pleasure to meet you. Women, and more specifically, Black women, who are the greatest catalysts for change through families, communities, and our cities. Veronica, thank you for recognizing the strength of Black women in Baltimore and the gap, this sort of lack of reentry programs that are provided to women. I appreciate, as did the rest of our community member panel, your focus on breaking this intergenerational cycle of incarceration. We also appreciate that you take this innovative approach focusing on women, because so many returning citizen programs focus on men. We support you and we appreciate and look forward to what you have to come.
Thank you.
Thank you, Destiny. Aaron Church, do you have any questions for this Changemaker?
I do, yes. And congratulations again on being a finalist. What a great story. The panel really enjoyed your pitch and thought you are doing a tremendous job so far. So keep up all the hard work. In terms of a question, the panel talked about what your plans are to measure, evaluate, and track the success of this program. You talked a little bit about it in your pitch, but it'd be helpful to get some ideas as to how you track that, and we'll evaluate that going forward. And then also, secondly, what the program's long-term impact will be on equity.
Thank you so much for that. So currently we measure the success of our participants based off the number of women that we actually place into employment. So upon completion of the program, after the 8 weeks, if a woman is placed into employment and able to sustain employment through supportive services through Pivot Inc. for a duration of 12 months or more. So that's how we currently track it. As far as being equitable moving forward in the future, we're looking to increase Pivot Inc. throughout the city and also work with more partners that would help to provide more reentry workforce related services, specifically for women, trans women. We know that the judiciary system is male dominated, and oftentimes when it comes to funding and support services for women, it's oftentimes a huge gap that is not equitable. So it's our goal to continue to not only increase our services, but partner with many organizations and the correctional system to make sure that we are closing the gap and creating equitable resources and opportunities for women.
Thank you again, Aaron, for the question. Those are two watchwords for me, equity and measurement. Love that. Thank you for your response. Let's move on to our next changemaker, the Queer Crisis Response Unit.
For many of us, calling 911 when we need help is simply not an option. This is especially true for queer and trans people experiencing mental health crises. Nationally, transgender adults are reporting skyrocketing rates of suicidality, family rejection, loss of community, and intimate partner violence. In Baltimore City, trans folks' experiences of physical abuse are overwhelmingly at the hands of our partners, or the police, leaving many survivors isolated and with nowhere safe to turn.
But what if instead we could call on trusted neighbors for support? Someone who could check in on you, who will listen, someone you know will treat you with respect, who can connect you to life-affirming resources, someone to help you find a safe way to go when home is unsafe.
The Queer Crisis Response Unit is a community-based alternative to 911 by and for TLGBTQI people in Baltimore City. We're a growing network of neighbors, allies, and service providers who understand the urgent need for accessible, culturally competent crisis resources. Currently, we're providing mental health peer support to our queer and trans neighbors. But with your help, we can expand our network and start training neighbors and service providers across Baltimore in life-saving skills like safety planning, crisis counseling, and de-escalation.
With this funding, we'll be able to connect impacted community members with resources and trainings to hone their skills, building our collective capacity to respond to different types of emergencies, like mental health crises, instances of interpersonal violence, opioid overdose, and issues related to housing. Asking for help should be easy. We all deserve to feel safe and supported. Let's commit to building our skills and relationships with one another. Together, we can keep each other safe.
Your big idea will help connect people who so often feel isolated with a safe space as well as support. So building your capacity to help those marginalized by our society so that they can get the resources and help they need sounds like a terrific idea. Nakia, what are your thoughts on this idea?
It's such an impressive idea. And just speaking for the whole panel, we really appreciate the recognition of the need. You're focused on helping those who may also be experiencing societal, financial, and structural barriers to getting the help that they need. And the way that you're thinking about it holistically, I think is just top notch. So congratulations again.
Thank you, Nakia. And Pickett, what more would you like to know about this idea?
Yes, such important, amazing work you're all doing. And one of the questions we wanted to know more about was, if you were to receive the Changemaker grant, how would you expand services and awareness about what you're offering?
Thank you. Yeah. With this funding, we would be able to scale up what we've just begun to do as we're a new initiative. We would be able to deliver crisis response trainings to Baltimore's TLGBTQIA community. That would focus on de-escalation, that's bystander intervention, mediation, conflict resolution, and then the self-care, self-regulation, and co-regulation skills necessary to hold ourselves and others through crises. So with this funding, we'd be directly resourcing those most impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, providing stipends to a cohort of TLGBTQIA facilitators who will be deeply trained and invested in as resources themselves in mediation skills that they can then take back to their community. So that'll trickle outwards. And so, yeah, with funding from the Changemaker Challenge, we would additionally be able to resource an outreach coordinator position to help us expand and develop greater partnerships with other grassroots orgs in Baltimore City who are doing work just like ours in their neighborhoods. Right now, we've been mostly concentrated in North Baltimore, but we're looking to expand throughout the city because everyone should be able to call on their neighbors for support, and there are queer and trans folks all across Baltimore, not just concentrated in North Baltimore. And so, yes, we all deserve that network of support. And with your help, we'll be able to reach more folks in need to share this community knowledge and these life-saving skills so that no one is isolated or alone during this pandemic.
Absolutely.
Thank you for your response. Next, we have the Safe Alternative Foundation for Education Incorporated. Let's hear about this big idea to drive change in the city.
My name is Van Brooks, and I'm the founder of Safe Alternative Foundation for Education. At the age of 16 years old, I suffered a severe spinal cord injury that left me paralyzed from the neck down. In a split second, I went from being a 3-sport athlete to landing in a hospital bed, unable to move, eat, talk, or breathe on my own. I felt hopeless, and I tried to give up on life. But a conversation with my dad changed the trajectory of my life and made me realize that there were a few things that could never be taken away. My education, and the things I was exposed to. These, coupled with the access I had to top-notch support, helped me realize that there were more paths to achieving success. Growing up in West Baltimore City, where the center is going to be located, I realized that many people suffer from paralysis. Now, while it may not be physical paralysis, it's mental paralysis due to the lack of an education and exposure to things outside their community. A Changemakers initiative is opening a new workforce development center to serve people living in my West Baltimore community, zip code 21223, which has one of the lowest employment rates in the city. The goal for this workforce development center is to provide soft skills training, technical skills training, as well as mentorship for residents in our community to enter into the construction industry, as well as to create a pipeline beginning in middle school all the way up to the ages of 24 years old. And how would I do this? Starting in middle school, we will provide hands-on vocational experiences in CTE through our in-house woodshop program, which will expose our students to careers in the construction industry, something that we've been running for 7 years now. For our high school students, we will provide woodshop and virtual reality training that will allow them to explore different concepts in the construction industry without the fear of injury or without the fear of having to be on the actual work site. Lastly, for our young adults ages 18 to 24, not only will they use woodshop, virtual reality training, and receive soft skills training, they will receive accredited technical skills training directly from our employer partners. This initiative will not only help our participants, but the construction industry as well. Choose us to help open this new center and build a pipeline to provide access to life-changing careers.
It's so inspiring, Van, to hear how your personal struggle helps spark your big idea. Your concept will help bring job training, mentorship, and economic advancement to residents in one of our city's most underserved communities. Thank you so much for your big idea. Aaron Church, tell us what you thought of this initiative.
Yes, thanks, Franklin. Van, such great work that you were doing. Our panel was so impressed with your story. We found your idea so impactful, and to be able to see you thrive in the face of adversity is very empowering. We loved your pitch video, and thanks for stepping up and addressing a true need in our local community. It's great work that you're doing, so keep it up. Your motto has demonstrated that you have a really strong focus on employment, which is critical, and you have a great track record working with other organizations and definitely have demonstrated that. So congratulations on being here this evening, and keep up all the great work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nakia, what else would you like to know about this project?
So then first, I'll say, I'm sure you hear it all the time, but your story by itself is very inspiring. So great job on all the work you're doing. The panel wanted to know a little bit more about your new space and how you plan to use it and, just like the operations of the new space.
Yes. So the layout is on the first level. It's going to be all woodshop space, all equipment, and so we're going to be building that pipeline and introducing our middle schoolers to the woodshop and introducing them to construction careers in the construction industry through the woodshop. And then we're also going to be bringing our high schoolers in as well to do the same thing. But we're going to have a lab down there that's also going to have virtual reality training, which I mentioned in the pitch video, which will allow our students to go on, let's say, for an example, learn how to do welding before actually being on a welding machine, to remove that fear of being injured or to remove the need to actually have the equipment in the space. And then the top level is all classroom space. So that's where they'll be able to learn, the math that's required and all the other necessities that are needed for them to get the certifications.
Very helpful response, Van. Okay, here's our next presenter, B360. Let's hear how they actually plan to drive positive social change right here in Baltimore City.
Think about the thing you use to relieve your stress. For some people it's yoga, for some people it's skateboarding, for some people it's public speaking, and I don't know why. Think about how you would feel if that was taken away from you, it was criminalized, it was demonized. Now ask yourself, would you still do it? The answer is yes. That's the reality for people all across the country, specifically here in Baltimore, who ride dirt bikes in streets. It's no places to go, but it's also that freedom and expression to be and to feel. At B360, we're teaching people how to pop willies into their next big jump of life and empowering community. We do this through a couple different ways. We have programming, which have helped people with nonviolent sentences do programming with us instead of going to jail. And then we also advocate for safe spaces. Since 2017, we served more than 7,000 students. We're on track to save Baltimore $233 million. What we want to see is better helmets, better equipment, better gear. In the same way skateboarders have a place to ride, the same way bicyclists do as well. This is not only an opportunity to reimagine education, but to reimagine public safety in real time. This year, in 2021, we launched a diversion program with the State Attorney's Office, so people do 20 hours of training with B360 in lieu of incarceration. Our other programming makes sure that kids as young as 6 years old learn how to fix, build, repair, and design dirt bikes. We're giving jobs, we're giving access, and with the support of this $25K, we'll be able to bring on 5 more adults to help run programming and sow a seed into a permanent space. I'm Brittany Young. I'm the founder and CEO of B360. I'm born, raised, and never leaving this city because I believe in growing the people with solutions and talent. We all belong in this city. We all have a voice. And finally, it's time for a space for us.
The challenge you're tackling, Brittany, at B360 is one that's very charged in the city. Your concept is an innovative way for youth to learn, to have fun, and express their freedom in a way that isn't criminalized or criticized. Thank you, Brittany, for sharing your big idea to grow your work. So Pickett, tell us what you thought.
Brittany, thank you so much for your commitment to Baltimore, to our city. And I want to say that of finding an asset and a strength dirt bike culture, and then using that to reimagine education and public safety. So it is brilliant, just the concept, but the work of creating safe spaces and connecting it to STEM and to public.
Over to you, Destiny. What else would you like to hear about how this project will work?
Awesome. Brittany, congratulations on being here. You look fabulous tonight. Thank you for being among the change makers. One of agree with Pickett. Our panel was really impressed by what you outlined, and also this concept of shifting the paradigm for possibilities. Talk to us a little bit about the hashtag Ride for Change campaign and how that will contribute to effective criminal justice reform and change perceptions of dirt bike riders in the city.
Yep, thank you for that question and a comment. What it's really about is just that all over across the country, people ride dirt bikes, but the things that's criminalized is actually just being black. It's systemic. In Baltimore, it's a misdemeanor for just owning a dirt bike, but we see that skateboarders have a skate park, bicyclists have a bike lane, and this campaign is using storytelling to be able to say why people ride, but to also finally give us an opportunity not only just have a space to be, but a space to be free. So think of a space where you can do indoor and outdoor riding. You can fix and repair dirt bikes. We can finally have helmets that fit my head and my hair type. And that's what we really want to see as we continue to grow. So we think support with this will not only allow us to finally get closer to a space, and this summer we piloted one, but to also be able to grow adult riders to continue to be instructors. So far, it's been 36. With the support of this fund, it can be at least 5 more, and then we can keep growing. So that's really what the campaign is about, making sure we have a safe space, making sure we have access, but also finally getting into the $32 billion motorsports industry right here in Baltimore that's waiting to be homegrown and to expand.
Thank you so much, Brittany, for your response. And now our next changemaker, let's hear from Division Street Landscaping.
My name is Alex Smith. I'm the owner of Division Street Landscaping. We plan to take all the vacant lots in Baltimore City and turn them into beautiful, beautiful sanctuaries. Division Street is 100% ex-offender owned, staff, serviced, all that. And my main goal is to take guys, formerly incarcerated guys and other people with barriers to employment, take them to some of the worst parts of the city and turn them into something beautiful. And that is the people involved as well as the community involved. What we want to do is we want to create a pipeline for guys to learn landscaping all the way up into are employed in the industry. We would like to be able to change this city and make it the most beautiful city in the country. So if you don't see beauty, you can't reflect beauty. And so what we want is to change the way people's neighborhoods look, change the way people think about certain neighborhoods, and then we can change the people in the neighborhood.
What a great idea, Alex, to help beautify our city while helping strengthen its residents at the same time. This sounds like a great plan to help grow people's skills for the workforce and really channel them into jobs and can help stabilize their lives. So thank you for your great idea. Aaron Hinken, tell us about what you thought.
Yeah, I love that comment. If you don't see beauty, you can't reflect beauty. I mean, I think that says it all. Your work, Alex, is really obviously highlighting parts of the city that go unnoticed, unappreciated, and really giving people pride in their own neighborhoods. It's so true how much our surroundings impact our outlook on life, and your project really speaks to that. So on behalf of the panel, thank you so much for your efforts, and congratulations on getting to this final round.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aaron. So Pickett, what else would you like to know about this project?
Wonderful job. This is just such a great approach to beautifying the city and then helping build the capacity of folks in the city at the same time. So excellent job. I want to know a little bit more about your planning phase and how you're thinking about the planning and how you're going to identify the neighborhoods to work in.
Well, you don't have to go far in Baltimore City to see vacant lots and, abandoned pocket parks. Man, just take a drive up and down North Avenue. You can take a drive up and down Pennsylvania Avenue, and you'll see that our city, needs some beautification. a lot of these places are abandoned and they haven't been well kept, and there's little to no management plan, and even in some of the parks that are newly built. So I don't think that Division Street will have any trouble finding the areas, where we can train guys and where we can, put our work to the test, or finding guys. I mean, every day people are being released from prison, jails, people are aging out of the foster care system. Like, this is something that's going on all the time. Man, look, I wish I could tell you how many times a day my phone rings with people saying, man, I want something different. I want to do something different. How can I come and be a part of what you're doing? So that's what you're saying as far as finding it. That's the easy part, man. We got a whole city to work with.
Thank you, Alex, for your beautification project. Our next change maker is Parity Baltimore. Let's see what they have to share about their SOS fund.
First, take a look. I mean, really, look. Look until you can see. How did it come to this? Go back. Go back in your memory and see. Black families fleeing white terror in the deeper South, a second forced migration after crossing the Atlantic, the dream of peace and prosperity after emancipation, lost as the Reconstruction Project crumbled. A resourceful people will dream, respond, and move forward. So they move. They arrive in West Baltimore. They are builders, artisans, teachers, soldiers, day workers, and much more. They create one of the most vibrant communities in the country. These efforts do not go unnoticed. The flourishing neighborhoods are a symbol of connection, ingenuity, intellect, Black power. In a white supremacist country, symbols like these are an affront to the myth of Black inferiority. So the neighborhoods are marked for destruction. Over the next 7 decades, 3 generations of Black families are subject to a continuous onslaught of predatory economic and social practices. Redlining, reverse redlining, contract lending, restrictive covenants, blockbusting, steering, the war on poverty, the war on drugs, mass incarceration, subprime lending, disinvestment, urban renewal, tax sale. The neighborhoods bend, buckle, and nearly break. And yet there is resistance. In one act of resistance, the Stop Oppressive Seizures Fund stopped 60 households from experiencing tax sale. We are working to dismantle these racist policies in housing and community development. Together, we are disrupting and dismantling predatory systems that erode property rights, ownership, and sovereignty within Black, Indigenous, and all communities of color. These are acts of reclamation and restoration. Our ultimate goal, decolonization. Join us.
There is a long and dark history in our city of economic and social policies that really prey on the most vulnerable of our residents. An expansion of your big idea could help put even more people on the path to housing and economic stability, which is so important. So Pickett, what do you think of this idea?
This is an amazing concept. And one of the great things about it is not only does it address a systemic challenge here in the city with homes being seized through tax sales and sold and folks losing home ownership, it is also a testament of how multiple organizations coming together to work on this. So the panel was really impressed by the collaboration that was taking place and the work that was happening. So great job. And I think this is one of those issues that is not only unique to Baltimore, but our country. And if we can figure out in Baltimore, we can help everybody with it. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Pickett. Aaron Church, what other details can this changemaker share to help guide your decision tonight?
Thanks, Franklin, and thanks, Pickett, for those comments. We certainly echo those comments across the board, and congratulations again on being a finalist and getting to this point and all the great work you're doing for our local community. Your application mentions the hiring of a case manager using those funds to hire a case manager. Can you speak a little bit more about your organization's need for this role? And can this case manager support the ongoing stability of the program participants long term?
Sure. Thanks, Aaron, for your question, and thanks everyone for being here. My name is John Kern. I'm one of the co-founders of the Stop Oppressive Seizure Fund, and I regret to not be joined by my two incredible colleagues, Bree Jones and Nika Namdi, two powerful Black women who are really the backbone behind here. But I'm excited to step in and play this role tonight, and also. I am so humbled to be next to these other finalists. Each one of these projects is truly unequivocal. It's amazing to be up here with you all, and best of luck to everybody, really. But Aaron, to your question, that's a great point. So, in a lot of ways, we were building the airplane in flight, and looking at all these systems it's incredibly complex. Thank goodness we have good researchers and folks really doing direct services on this, legal services. Equitable development, and then of course blight remediation, and we just jumped right in, raised $100,000, bailed all these homeowners at a tax sale last year, the height of COVID. These are our legacy homeowners, right? These folks run our block clubs, our community associations. They're the backbone of our faith community. They're really the lifeblood of the neighborhoods, and restoring and respecting what they're trying to do is what we were all about. We jumped in almost too quick, and now we have a ton of work ahead of us where we need to triage resources for all of these homeowners. And also, because we did a grassroots campaign and put the word out that folks could lose their homes to tax sale, we now have a large amount of folks that are willing to be part of this effort to help and support older adult homeowners as they really work to restore the communities. So the community coordinator has an enormous task. I mean, they've got to hop on, triage all the resources that we know, legal services, weatherization programs, property tax credits, all the city programs that are designed to support the homeowners. So we're going to need that coordinator to hit the ground running, but we have an incredible network of people that are helping us. And Pickett mentioned collaboration. That's what we're all about. We know the city services. We know, the network where we can really connect these homeowners with the resources, but also elevate them and their voices so that they can do, community advocacy, legislative advocacy, and programmatic advocacy that'll really, really get to the root of some of this systematic oppression that we're seeing in our neighborhoods. So the coordinator has an enormous job ahead of them. And again, we are so thankful to be a part of the group, and the judges have their work cut out for them. We do not envy you. So good luck to you all, and we're just humbled in this work.
Thank you, John, for stepping in for Bree tonight. And now our final change maker this evening, Tendaya Family. Let's check out their big idea.
Over 300 people are murdered in Baltimore City every year, and over 90% of them are Black males. Why? Is it poverty? Is it lack of education? Is it broken homes? Yeah, it's all of that. But I'm here to tell you today that one of the major overlooked contributing factors to all of this is the Black male struggle with identity. We're not born knowing what it means to be Black. We're not born knowing what it means to be a man. And many of the definitions we receive from society, the media, the music, our environment is telling us that to be a Black man is to be a killer, a drug dealer, and a robber. And so many of our young men act that out. But we can change all of that. My name is Elijah Miles, and I'm the founder of Tendaya Family. We would like to run an 8-month rites of passage program for Black boys from Baltimore City. On Saturdays, we would teach them about Black manhood, Black history, community responsibility, and more. On Sundays, they'll be forced to apply those principles by participating in Tendaya Family's weekly community cleanup. They'll have transformative trips, lifelong mentors, and much more. But suffice it to say this, I know this will transform the lives of these young men because it transformed my life. Were it not for Mr. Scott, I may have been on one of those corners. But Mr. Scott gave me Martin Luther King. He gave me Malcolm X. He gave me Marcus Garvey. It showed me that to be a Black man is not to be a killer, a robber, and a drug dealer, but to be a Black man is to be absolutely committed to your community. So let's invest in black boys, because the real change makers are not any of us, but the real change makers are behind and inside every community that we serve.
3, 2.
What a terrific idea, Elijah. Your program's mentorship approach to help young black men transform their lives and communities is really needed today, now more than ever, because they can be the change makers of our future. Nakia, what do you think of this idea?
I love the idea. Elijah, we really loved your passion behind the concept. And there's such a need in our community for supportive programs, especially for young black men, and just guiding them on the next steps of their journey. So we appreciate your work, the effort you've put into finding partnerships and your ability to leverage them for the youth that you're serving. So just great job.
I totally agree, Nakia. Great passion, Elijah. Aaron Henkin, what other details can this changemaker share to help you in your decision tonight?
Hey, Elijah, great to meet you. You are a magnetizing presence and a great spokesperson for this project. My question for you is can you give us a sense of the scope of this project in terms of how many members would be helped by this 8-month cohort, and then maybe talk a little bit about past successes that the momentum that you've got right now that you're already building on.
And so we would like to get between 10 and 18 young males. And the reason we want to get these young males is because we realize that black boys in Baltimore City is lacking investment. And so a lot of them are the victims of murders, a lot of them are victims of violence, but it's not a lot of investment in identity. And so we would like to run this summer program, this Rites of Passage summer program, and really guide and teach them about black manhood, black history, community responsibility, and more. But Tendaya Family, we've been doing work like this all the time. We've been doing like this for a while. And so for over 2 years, we ran a man-to-man program that's focused on black men developing themselves, about black manhood, black history, community responsibility, and more. Every member that has joined Tendaya Family, we have all given up smoking weed, drinking alcohol, having sex with people we're not in relationships with. We have changed our lives. And how have we changed our lives is based on the very things that we're going to teach these black boys. We've also have experience with hiring kids. And so we want every youth participant to be hired, being paid $50 to coming out to our community cleanups on Sundays. But we're already doing that. We already have 15 youth interns that we are paying every Sunday to come out to our community cleanup, not to just learn how to clean a community, but learn how to be just a great vessel for making change in their own community. And so we believe that this idea is absolutely powerful, and we think it's ignored. But if this idea is invested in, we not only believe that this will change those boys' lives, but it'll change Baltimore City, because we're relying on the boys themselves to become the change makers. And so Tendaya Family is not needed in a couple of generations, or nonprofit is not needed to keep coming in to the community and changing things. We're relying on the people that live inside the community themselves to be initiated into this work and really change and impact their neighborhoods.
Thank you, Elijah. Okay, so you've seen what our change makers can bring to the people and communities of Baltimore City. And there are a lot of great ideas here. I want to thank all the community members participating tonight for their commitment to this wonderful initiative, as well as their observations and a thoughtful review of these ideas, which we think will help us determine our investments in the 2021 change makers. So we're going to give them a little time to review all of tonight's big ideas once more. And while they're doing that, we'll be sharing highlights from each of our change makers to remind you of their big ideas for social change right here in Baltimore City. After the highlights, there will be a poll on your screen where you can cast your vote for audience favorite in tonight's celebration of change makers. Be sure to vote. The audience favorite award means $5,000 for the recipient. But first, Let's take a final look at all of our changemakers one last time.
Hi, my name is Brian Sims, president of the Greater Baltimore Health Improvement Initiative. Our mission is to empower individuals in Baltimore to take control of their health through education, advocacy, and action.
Hello, my name is Leisha Winley.
And I'm Gianna Rodriguez. We're from Baltimore Youth Arts. BYA engages young people ages 14 to 22 in a creative entrepreneurship and career readiness program where they gain job and design skills, develop relationships, and learn how to engage with the greater community.
Hi, I'm Jane Rohde. I'm the founder of Live Together, an organization that focuses on workforce development and intergenerational living for underserved youth and elders.
My name is Tide Courtney, and I am the founding director of Ballet After Dark. We provide free, trauma-informed, holistic resources to youth and women impacted by sexual trauma and violence in Baltimore City. We prioritize and amplify the healing of Black and Brown survivors. We are here to help survivors turn their trauma into triumph using movement.
My name is Miranda McDaniels, the Program Manager for the Global Air Drone Academy. Our mission is to bridge the race and gender gap in STEM education and careers through the use of drone technology.
Hi, my name is Veronica Jackson, and I'm the Executive Director at Pivot Incorporated. We are a women's reentry workforce development program. We believe that a woman's past does not define her future. And at our program, we really aim to help women reach their fullest potential who are returning citizens coming back from prison.
I'm Evie Yost. My pronouns are they, them, theirs.
I'm Danielle Kipiden. My pronouns are she, her, and we're the Queer Crisis Response Unit.
We're a community-based alternative to 911 by and for LGBTQIA people in Baltimore City, providing peer mental health support and crisis response resources.
Hi, my name is Van Brooks, and I'm the founder of Safe Alternative Foundation for Education. Our mission is to inform students about the importance of obtaining an education, as well as having an alternate career plan in anticipation for life's deviations. Our Changemakers initiative is to open up a new workforce development center that will provide access to careers in the construction industry, as well as soft and technical skills training.
I'm Brittany Young. I'm the founder and CEO of B360. All across the country, specifically here in Baltimore, people ride dirt bikes in streets because there's no place to go. Unlike skateboarding, unlike bicycling, being in Baltimore for dirt bike is a misdemeanor. What we're doing is sowing a seed into programming and safe spaces, making sure that kids and young adults not only have access, but grow in both the motorsports industry and STEM.
My name is Alex Smith. I'm the owner of Division Street Landscaping. We are fully staffed 100% by ex-offenders. And what we do is we turn vacant lots, unkept property, future projects that people have in mind into beautiful spaces.
The Stop Repressive Seizures Fund aims to disrupt and dismantle predatory systems that erode property rights, sovereignty, and ownership within Black, Indigenous, and all communities of color, while decolonizing our understanding of property and wealth and encouraging a transition to a framework for collective land stewardship.
My name is Elijah Miles, and I'm the founder and leader of a great organization called Tendaya Family. We're an organization of young black men and women from Baltimore City that are dedicated to changing Baltimore City's black community by operating transformative programs focused on identity, self-improvement, community service, and development. Please invest in our project, because investing in black boys is investing in a better Baltimore City.
Okay, folks, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. We're going to start with the Audience Choice Award through a Slido poll where you can vote for the Changemaker you feel has the best idea to spark change right here in Baltimore City. We can only count your vote through this poll, so pay close attention and I'll tell you how it works. It's really easy to cast your vote. You can click the vote button below and you can see a link to the poll in the chat window. You can also go to slido.com and enter the word Changemaker as the event code. Again, and this is important, we can only count your vote through this poll. So click the button below, see the link in the chat, or go to slido.com and type in Changemaker as the event code. It's that easy. Let's warm up with 2 poll questions so everyone feels comfortable entering their choices. For the first poll, we want to know about you and your connection to Baltimore City, the Changemakers event. Do you live here, work here, both? Are you here to support a Changemaker? You can only choose one, so please select the choice that represents you best. Click the button below, see the link in the chat, or go to slido.com and enter the word Changemaker as the event code. Go ahead and answer now. I see there are 89, 92 now people that have responded. 64% so far say they live in Baltimore City. I see so far 35% say they support new ideas to drive positive change in the city. Wow, it's great to see so many of you show up to support these initiatives. It really is. The numbers are growing. I see more and more of you are logging in, 140. We'll give you one more moment to answer. Okay, it looks like the majority of you are here because you live in Baltimore City. It's so good to see what brought you all here tonight. And again, thank you for joining us. Let's move to our next poll. We want to know what area of social impact is most important to you. So our Changemakers have shared what's most important to them as they prepare to launch their new and innovative ideas to make lives better in the city. How about you? Which of these areas are top of mind and important to you? Again, see the link in the chat, click the vote button below, or go to slido.com and enter the code Changemaker. I'll give you a few moments to answer. I see several of you have indicated education. A good number of you have indicated health, are areas of impact that matter most to you. A good number under housing. Continue, 150 people so far have completed the poll. Okay, it looks like the top area of importance to you is education. Last call for your vote. This group has spoken. The most important social impact for the majority of you, as I said, is education. All right, folks, you all have a great handle on voting and how it works. The community members are back with their investment decisions, and we'll hear what they've decided in a moment. But now it's time to vote for the Audience Choice Award. Okay, let's go. Please launch the official Audience Choice poll of all the ideas you've presented tonight. Which do you think is best for the health and well-being of people in Baltimore City? I know it's not easy to choose just one. I hear you. But please think about what's most important to you and just select one. Remember, one Changemaker will get $5,000. We see the numbers on the screen. One more time, we can only count your vote through the poll. Click the button below and see the link in the chat, or go to slido.com and enter Changemaker as the event code. So exciting to see the numbers as you're entering them. We're up to 162 people and moving upward that are actually voting for who is their Audience Choice Award. This is so exciting to see so many strong, concepts to choose from. We'll give you one more moment to get your vote in. Okay, the poll is about to close. Stay with us. We'll be right back with all the winners. But first, let's hear how one of our partners is supporting social innovation in Baltimore schools.
Philanthropy Tank is a groundbreaking program that empowers student entrepreneurs to become leaders in our communities. These change makers are inspiring and do amazing things.
Do you want to build a snowman?
Princesses Against Cancer was started by high school students who dreamed of sharing joy with children in local hospitals. 3-year-old Vanessa Garcia is battling a rare liver cancer.
She always tells me she wants to go home, but when I told her about this, she was waiting happily, and I think for just a moment, it made her forget about the situation she's in.
Our students also teach life-saving skills.
Our pitch was to certify the community in CPR
and water safety.
We're providing them with free swim lessons that are run by teens and volunteers.
Or build playgrounds.
The Boundless Dreams Playground is aimed to foster inclusion and unrestricted play.
Philanthropy Tank, thank you guys so much. We can't thank you guys enough.
It's really cool, right?
Yeah. I love it.
We have empowered 55 programs, partnered with over 100 volunteers, given over $600,000 in funding, and impacted over 300,000 lives through our student programs. These initiatives have filled 200 student backpacks with school supplies, put shoes on 1,000 needy children, and have given 200,000 people access to free sunscreen. That's just the beginning of what student-organized programs have accomplished with help from Philanthropy Tank and our philanthropist investors.
It's so critical for young people to have an opportunity to generate ideas.
Mentoring, it's the imparting of wisdom that will be so important to these students.
You hear about philanthropy, but you don't necessarily hear it in our terms of really empowering our youth.
The students also benefit from joining Philanthropy Tank. They're learning leadership, team building, business, technology skills, and a whole lot more.
We know this works. We know that there's a great path to success for our kids, and so investing in this made absolute sense.
It's my hope that Philanthropy Tank will be viewed as a resource for the entire city of Baltimore and not just for our youth. Because through their eyes and the projects that they create, we're able to see what they're concerned about, what they would like to innovate, and where they see the future of Baltimore going.
The program is very pure, but when you see the faces and the emotions of the kids and the community that they're impacting, it's hard not to just get a tremendous rush every moment I get an opportunity to participate.
6,500.
8,000.
9,000. 10,000.
14,000.
We're going to give you the $15,000.
With the support of Philanthropy Tank, we were able to make real change in our community. I'm so thankful for this experience and the opportunities that have come with it.
Join us and become a change maker. Philanthropy Tank.
And we're back. It looks like the Audience Choice Award of $5,000, and more importantly, the concept this community wants to see move forward is... Congratulations, Tendaya Family.
Thank you so much.
Now let's move on to announce the investments chosen by our panel of community members. But before we do that, I think we can all agree that every big idea presented tonight is amazing. Our change makers have really done some innovative, out-of-the-box thinking to really address both long-standing and new challenges here in our city. And everyone know this, every single idea that focuses on improving lives and neighborhoods is meaningful, valuable, and yes, appreciated. These change makers have made us carefully consider the issues they want to tackle. They've helped us comprehend the struggles faced by those that they actually work with. And yes, some of them have made us cry as they share personal stories. So everybody take a deep breath and get ready as we announce the 2021 Change Makers. $10,000 will be invested in Queer Crisis Response Unit. Now we have an exciting development. I was in the deliberation room with our community members as they were making their choices. And they said that the concepts presented tonight were so strong and has so much potential that they want to invest more. I'm thrilled to announce that we're making 3 $10,000 investments tonight. And so our second $10,000 investment will be invested in Tendaya Family.
Yeah.
$10,000 investment will go to Division Street Landscaping.
Thank you.
And now moving on to the $15,000 investment, which will go to Global Air Drone Academy.
Oh, it's awesome.
This is truly a very special night. I was also just informed that the community members have decided to make 2 additional $15,000 investments. And so the second $15,000 investment goes to Pivot Inc.
Yay!
And the recipient of the third $15,000 investment goes to Parity Baltimore Inc. SOS Fund. Folks, it's clear from these additional investments that our community members have been so inspired by the innovative and creative ideas presented tonight. We're thrilled that we can help more change makers make even more impact. Now, for the $25,000 investment. Our community members have been deliberating hard on this one. I mean, there are so many great ideas we've seen tonight, am I right? So let's begin. The recipient of a $25,000 investment in their work is Ballet After Dark.
Oh my God! Oh! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
So exciting. But before we move on, I have some great news to share as we conclude the 2021 Changemaker Challenge in Greater Baltimore. Tonight's celebration caps off our other Changemaker events that have been held over the past 2 weeks in Anne Arundel, Baltimore, Carroll, Harford, and Howard counties. It has truly been an exciting and inspirational experience. Now, like many of you here tonight, our community members had a tough time landing on just one $25,000 recipient. So I'm thrilled to be able to share this new development, and you'll want to hold on to your seats for this one. Tonight, we'll be making not one, not two, but three $25,000 investments in our Baltimore City Changemakers. That's right. I know none of you saw that coming. Our community members were so impressed with the ideas and plans they presented that they want to support as many of them as they can. So, a second $25,000 investment will go to Safe Alternative Foundation for Education, Inc.
I told you. I started the recording. I said, we gotta get this. Oh my goodness. Let me do something.
And finally, a $25,000 investment will go to B360.
That's fun.
Wasn't that exciting and unexpected? Congratulations to all the 2021 Baltimore City Changemaker recipients. We really can't wait to see your ideas come to life. I want to extend our warmest gratitude to our community members who, again, so thoughtfully and diligently evaluated so many great ideas, and to everyone joining us here today for their support of our Changemaker and your feedback on the Audience Choice Award. So tonight has been all about sharing and amplifying the voices of those right here in the city who share United Way's mission, which is simple, to improve lives and neighborhoods. We're so grateful for all the ideas that were submitted and celebrate all the entrants, and especially our 2021 Changemakers. Thank you for making a difference right here in Baltimore City.